I can recall at my overzealous CP school now over 30 years ago that I used to witness CP outdoors. I remember well one pupil being slippered by the gym master bending over holding the goal posts as it was being administered to his bottom. I can also recall an incident where a pupil was to be slippered outdoor but forgot to leave off his underwear under his shorts, which broke the gym master's rules. Please bear in mind that our sports field was surrounded by houses for all to see. Also, pupils, staff in adjacent classroom would be able to witness these events. Has anyone else got experience of this type of punishment at their school? Thanks. At our school, the headmaster's office was a separate building in between the school building and the playground. Boys were often caned outside of this office in sight of others of the school population. On a nostalgia website, a correspondent recalls his time at Glaisdale School, Nottingham 1973 to 1978. Public caning was still in existence at that time, and I clearly remember it being used. All the boys in the yard stood silently as Alan Webster swished his cane in the air with vigor. A youth was bent over a chair, which had been placed on one of the raised grass areas in front of the cloakrooms. What he had done was uncertain, but it was enough to warrant a public caning in the yard. As Webster took a red-faced run-up, the youth gritted his teeth as the cane, kept supple in Webster's fish tank, smashed a crippling blow to his flannel trousers. 5 more followed, each time preceded by a run-up and a puff of dust from the pupils' unwashed kecks. Despite being a Christian and an RE teacher, Alan Webster took great delight in inflicting pain on other human beings, and we could never understand this. Compare and contrast with the situation at Glaisdale School in my posting under Should We Bring Back the Cane? On the 29th of May. The use of the chair suggests a certain amount of preparation rather than impromptu, so presumably these outdoor canings were organized for break times to add to the humiliation. After cross-country runs, if boys had cheated or not tried hard enough, they would be slippered by one of the PE masters outside the coach taking us back to school. Not many people passed by, but those that did would have seen and heard it. At Whitesmore School in Chelmsley Wood in 1977, a boy was caned in front of the rest of the first-year pupils. It appeared that someone had told the school cook to expletive off. It was known that it was a first year because there were 2 dinner sittings with first, fourth, and fifth years on one sitting and second and third years on the other. The head of lower school, one Paul Mays, lined the entire first year up and sent another pupil to his office for his cane. He asked the assembled company who had sworn at the cook and, amazingly, a boy admitted it. He was told to bend over and caned there and then. I was slippered in the corridor one break time with another boy for running and basically messing around. We were caught by the PE master, Mr. Davis, who gave us a right rollicking. This of course attracted a large crowd of pupils. After the telling off, he asked the watching crowd if anyone had a plimsoll in their bags. Plenty were offered from both boys and girls. Mr. Davis finally selected one from one of the older female pupils. We were then both ordered to bend over and touch our toes. He then proceeded to administer 6 whacks of the slipper to each of us in sets of 3. Of course, being a PE teacher, Mr. Davis was an expert with the slipper and he really laid them on hard. There was lots of ooze from the watching pupils when a particular hard whack echoed down the corridor, accompanied by our howls of pain. Not really outdoor CP, but pretty close. I think it is useful to distinguish between non-private and public canings. The former are carried out regardless of who might see, while for the latter are deliberately carried out in front of an audience, assembled specifically for the purpose or otherwise. Both practices are safer than canings carried out in private without an independent, reputable witness. This occasion was a punishment that I witnessed. It was a games lesson and us boys were getting changed for football. As usual, there were the same pupils handing their notes to the games master from their mums as to why they could do games. On this occasion there were around 5 boys handing in notes. Our changing rooms were situated in a downstairs room on the outside of the school. As myself and the rest of the boys emerged from the dressing room, the games master was giving 3 of the boys who had handed in notes a right rollicking. Apparently the 3 boys had got someone else to write the notes for them. Unbeknown to myself and the other boys, the games master had sent a boy to his classroom for his meter rule. I had felt this meter rule before and it stings. The three boys were all lined up and ordered to bend over. Of course us boys were going to watch the whacking, but just as the punishment was about to begin the girls came from their changing room. Course they all stopped to watch as well. The games master made no effort to move the girls on and began to fold back each boy's blazer. He then administered 3 tremendous whacks to each bending bottom. The meter rule made a loud slapping noise and all 3 of the boys howled after each whack, much to the amusement of the watching boys and girls.